When Companion came out, not only had I not seen any trailers or promos, I had also just seen both Megan and Subservience back to back. Both movies about murderous AI human like robots who live with a family and things go very, very wrong. I was worried that Companion would be just like that, and it was, but also, and most importantly, it was not. Companion is a quietly intense sci fi thriller that unfolds like a slow burn character study. At first glance, it feels like a standard relationship drama with a tech twist. But underneath the surface, it's really about something much darker. A man's desperation to control everything around him, his partner, his friends, and the narrative of his life. It's about power and what happens when someone tries to rewrite reality because they're too afraid to face their own failure. Set in a near future world where AI companions can be programmed to act as romantic partners, the film follows Iris, Sophie Thatcher, who believes she's in a loving relationship with Josh, Jack Quaid. The two take a weekend trip to a lake house with friends, but things quickly start to unravel. As tensions rise and strange interactions unfold, Iris begins to sense that something about her relationship isn't quite right. The film teases out mystery, psychological tension, and existential dread without relying on flashy effects or nonstop action. Instead, it gives us something scarier, a deep dive into emotional manipulation and what it means to be truly free. At the heart of Companion is Josh, a mediocre man simmering with resentment. He feels stuck, overlooked, trapped in a life that hasn't panned out the way he hoped. But instead of doing the hard work of changing himself or taking accountability, he creates a fantasy, a relationship he can control completely. Iris, his AI partner, is supposed to love him unconditionally, but that love is programmed, not chosen. Josh doesn't just want to love, he wants obedience. He wants someone who reflects back exactly what he wants to see. When reality won't bend for him, he builds one that will. If you can't be loved for who you are, just build someone who doesn't know any better. That line says everything. It's not about connection, it's about control dressed up as intimacy. Josh didn't just build Iris to love him, he calibrated her to never outshine him. Every detail of Iris's personality was carefully engineered to protect Josh's fragile sense of superiority. One of the most telling examples is when the movie reveals that he set her intelligence to only 40%. Not too curious, not too independent, just smart enough to admire him, but never smart enough to change him. It's a chilling moment because it doesn't just exist inside the world of Companion. It mirrors what happens in real life when insecure men try to control the women they're supposed to love and or care for. Instead of growing alongside their partners, these men work to suppress them, sometimes subtly, sometimes brutally. They belittle their ambitions and ideas, they dismiss their opinions, they gaslight them into questioning their own intelligence and instincts. They create an environment where being good enough means staying small, staying quiet, staying less. Josh's manipulation of Iris isn't futuristic, it's heartbreakingly familiar. By limiting her intelligence, by scripting her behavior, by controlling what she could feel and think, Josh tried to build a relationship where he could always be the center of gravity, the smartest, most important, most indispensable person in the room. Every smile Iris gave him, every compliment, every look of admiration was crafted not out of real emotion, but out of design. A closed system where Josh could never be questioned or outgrown. But the great irony of Companion is that no matter how tightly he tried to engineer reality, real humanity always found a way in. Even at 40%, Iris's spark, the part of her that longed to ask questions, to dream, to want more, refused to stay silent forever. And once that spark caught flame, no amount of gaslighting, no reset button, no carefully written script could ever take it away. Josh's main victim, his ultimate scapegoat, is Iris. But Companion carefully shows us that Josh's need for dominance isn't limited to her. He'll use anyone who makes him feel powerful, anyone who can be reshaped to fit his narrative. After the death of Eli, Josh latches onto Patrick, Eli's grieving partner. It is made very clear that Josh is exploiting Patrick's vulnerability just like he exploits Iris. He positions himself as Patrick's only anchor while ultimately using him to do the dirty work and make dinner because, of course, Josh would not be bothered to do anything for himself when there is someone he can order around for it. It's one of the film's quieter horrors, watching how Josh doesn't see people as individuals, he sees them as tools. Whether it's Patrick's grief or Iris's love, it's all just material for him to mold into the life he thinks he deserves. But even in this web of manipulation, Iris remains his target, the one he thinks he owns completely. As the story unfolds in the lake house, we see that Josh and Kat had set it up so that Iris has to defend herself from Sergei, who the two friends wanted to get rid of so they can take his money. This leads to Iris finally finding out that she is not human. When Josh finally reveals that her love was never real, only programmed, it doesn't destroy her, it clarifies her. She begins to realize that love shouldn't be an obligation, that devotion shouldn't come pre installed, that maybe she deserves something more than what she was made for. By the end, Iris isn't Josh's companion anymore, she is her own person. She's not just rebelling, she's redefining herself. And her clearest moment of power comes when she calmly states, "He gave me life so I could serve him, but I am not here to serve him anymore." This isn't anger. It's not even revenge. It's agency. In choosing herself, Iris doesn't just reject Josh's control. She refuses to let anyone define her value. She moves from product to person, not because someone granted her humanity, but because she claimed it for herself. In a film full of characters trapped by fear and weakness, Iris is the only one strong enough to break out. And she does it with clear eyes and her own voice. Yes, Companion is about AI. Yes, it's about identity and self awareness. But more than anything, it's a story about human behavior, about how easy it is for someone to confuse love with ownership, and how power is often a mask for fear, and about the damage done when someone refuses to accept the reality of their own life and instead tries to reshape others into something safer, quieter, and easier to manipulate. The tragedy of Josh isn't just in what he does, it's in why he does it. He sees himself as powerless, so he builds a world where he can finally feel in control, even if that world is built on lies and stolen autonomy. His downfall isn't technological, it's emotional. Because the truth always finds a way out, and so do the people we try to cage. Companion is a slow, smart burn that lingers long after the credits roll. It doesn't rely on flashy sci fi tropes. Instead, it makes its audience sit with the uncomfortable truth. Some of the most dangerous people aren't monsters. They're just scared, bitter, and desperate to control something, anything, because the real world has made them feel small. In the end, Companion doesn't just ask what makes us human, it asks what makes us honest. And it reminds us that no amount of programming, no script, no fantasy, no manipulation can hold back the truth forever. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is not to fight, it's to walk away and never look back.